Yep, it's 6 o'clock hour. This time I would like to call the meeting of the Gilmer County Board of Education to order. Bill Starkey, Mr. Britt, Carlisle, here, Tom Rattler, here. We're all here accounted for. And at this time, Dr. Harper has agreed to lead us in the pledge of allegiance. Next item on our agenda is Superintendent's Report, item 3.
I had told you sometime back that I'd like to provide some results for you. I've got some of that. You may have important to see results if you haven't. So it's a good summary of the current data. On your first page, those first 2 or 3 pages are actually repeated again over in the body of the article, the accountability system. But just to give you an idea, I have a handout here, a couple of handouts for you on the current school designations. But 5 we talked about for success and priority. There's a number of schools that have been designated in these 3 categories. The success is at least 28% of the total schools in the state, 39% for transition, 15% of focus, 13% in support, and 5 in priority. Remember, I told you earlier that Gilmer County didn't have any priority or focus schools, and we were just wondering if we had any support. But it turned out we do not. All of our schools are in the top 2 categories. And the top category, of course, is that of the success school. And we have 2 schools in the top. I'm happy to say that they're both elementary schools. One is Normantown and one is St. George. Very good job. That just is kind of a summary of what a success school is. And that would be our other school in the next category, transition school. This gives you an idea of that. That is the transition school. A lot of stats up there right now that I very honestly can't explain to you. Superintendents are going to get a session on those in the coming 2 or 3 weeks. So as soon as we do that, I will be glad to have another session that can try to explain those and answer questions. But that's all that is. That's sort of an application. Our ACT results are up. Not where we want them to be yet, but they are progressing. Any general questions that I might take a shot at? As far as looking at it, it's not fair giving down this again question because, as I said, we're going to have another opportunity to talk about this at length and we can get up some more information, but at least be halfway forward.
Yeah, I think maybe at our next meeting and whenever we have it, it would be good for us to discuss it because right now I'm not sure any of us understand how the data has been put together, what it means, and unless your information means something, it becomes meaningless. And just like the VCT, the fact that we've gone up a couple of points, to me, that's a significant step. And, where we want to be is a couple of 3 points above that. But this is useful, very useful to us. I'm talking with people across the state, and there still is a lot of confusion about what all that we really means.
There's some terminology now that to me is very difficult. I'm struggling with is things such as the accountability indexes and all those kinds of things. If you really don't have any background on it, we're going to get to address that as one of our topics in the next couple of weeks.
I think their indexes, and I couldn't believe that they fell that much. I don't understand. And it says that you have to the 20-something of this month to ask for a recount of those two schools. What is our pre-rated school in Montana? There will always be known by higher school. I've been expecting this from Montana because we work very hard to get money on everything to go to 70-some% at Montana. But it definitely says on the index that if we do not agree with it, or we have any questions, we should ask for them to take another look at our statistics. I was wondering if we want to take another look at Grandville's and Phillips.
There's nothing to look at as far as you talking now, Phyllis, about the East or the West test or the new
I'm talking about the standards compared to all of the schools all over the state.
Well,
You've
actually got two bits of information. One's on the West test results for this year, and I think you all know that this year we're currently going to do the last year for West test, and all the West testing this current school will be done online. Next year we're going to what's called a smarter balance, and that's a much more difficult exam. It's all online.
The index, as the index stated, the Phillips sometimes had 1 or 15%, and so the report where Montana paid 70-some%. That's what it says right there that you can recheck that to see if it's why the discrepancy is what you're doing. Did you see that? And it said that you can ask for it to be looked at again, and I just wondered if our Board of Education doesn't want to ask them just to have it looked at again.
Our principals have always been very close to that. We'll check with them again to see if they
And this is just the
have any.
index, it's not the.
Yeah. I will check that out.
It's very hard, when you come to having say, absentee, and our absentee is 98 and more, and then we're coming out with these type of scores, it's something a little bit different.
Well, the West test was much more difficult.
It's purely the index, where it said, they made so much achievement rate higher.
Well, you talk about the growth rate. You're probably talking about the growth rate.
I'm talking about the actual index that they listed for every county and every board in the whole state.
And show me where that's on.
It's not on here. That's what I'm asking.
It's in that USA report.
Yes.
And there's something that says that schools can have different indices.
Yes.
It doesn't explain why. Like they do in other counties.
The other reason I think there may be a reason to have ours checked because most of the schools, the high schools, are judged on 9 through 12. Ours is one of the fewest ones to be judged from 7 through 12. How did they make that differential between that? If this is actually a report, you could go on per Carol and go down. I don't think you categorize that.
That's based on the accountability index is based on what your students are and how much growth they get.
That's how they got this exact transition.
Every county will have a different index for sure, yes. School because of where the students are and if they can receive any amount of growth or if they're falling back.
Well, ours seem to be falling back.
We'll check that again. We'll have some more information.
It definitely says right on it that it crosses the two. that they put it out and give to every school. I don't care who you are, from the very least to the highest, and on the index, that's where the success, tradition, purpose, support. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Other questions? Comments?
I'm getting a little suspect of that. Really hard. It seems like the government is involved. Worse, I'm talking about the nation. And I've seen a nationwide result. And yesterday, we ranked something like 32nd in the world in math. Singapore number one. And someone accidentally in this conversation. And I thought to myself, how can a foreign country be giving us English conversations in that? It seems like the more programs going down the right, the more
You have to teach every child, whether they're laid flat on their back and grade and do not know anything. They don't, they pick and choose their children. Then they say, you have to prepare, you can't prepare everything.
That's what I think is different, is that we do try to educate every child, but there's still a significant difference between how and what they're teaching them and everything. So, and that's been a series of the topic of debate for several years. But now everything everybody's saying on this new school designation, you realize that that was a result of the waiver that the state of West Virginia asked for under the USDA. Education Technology that's where they're at. You call their child after life. But this growth model is what the state had approved by the federal government. So it's not something that they're going to do. This is something that we, as a state, have asked them to approve in lieu of the AYP model.
That's the one the West Virginia experts put together, just like we do the experts on. I haven't seen it. Just iterated.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, I will have a follow-up with the tradition families. Hopefully we get a talk back. I will look at it soon. Keep the application out of all of it.
So I think it's very important that we get the ground floor on where we are at this point, because the next 3, 4, 5 years, we want to build on where we are now.
Yeah, actually this year's best, but I'm not excited about this year. Next year will be the first year it's smart about. That's really going to be the baseline.
Okay, well, thank you. Item 4, board reports. Gilmer County Career Center, Mr. Stark.
At the Senate meeting, was held 11 a.m. on August the 20th. Mr. Stern reported the SBA project, which was 3 units, the wastewater treatment plant is waiting for hookups. The new wall covering on the commons walls are just a very clean, very durable type of thing. The color is gray like it is in the restroom. It's very nice. You all should come down and see it because it changes the whole inside of that like it does and makes it spectacular inside, which it does in with documentation inside. On request for additional funds will be needed to complete this project. Mr. Stern wanted to publicly thank the Grantsville Volunteer Fire Department for cleaning off the parking lot. Greg Gerke, a volunteer from the fire department, sprayed this poop. Not my word, the fact. They are sure that this question will come back up again even after it passes again. You know, Mr. Blankenship's already did. We did a lot of gritting on this thing. This is the new saga, I'm going to tell you. Our past president, Mr. Cox, reported that this season came in September 1st. He was not sure how many geese he could get or bag in one day. But he also had felt that there were more geese to be bagged on weekends than any other day, which you could possibly, because it was worse then. Mr. Cox would provide us with a full calendar for goose season if you would like to have one. A fake coyote in the parking lot, which you must see, but they just laughed at it, landed on it, and did their business as usual, and donated to the center as much as they possibly could. He wanted to caution all shooters about coming along the paved road and shooting at the geese. He thinks this might be illegal and he wants to be careful because you can't shoot so many visitors to the school. However, he said to whom it may concern that when you're visiting the career center, please watch your step for more reasons than just one. That was Mr. Kaufman. He was funny as he could be, but you'll have to say this about it, and we know it's no joke. We can laugh and joke about this problem, however, it's a real problem for the career center. If anyone has a solution to our goose problem, or geese problem, however they want to yell about that, please call Mr. Stern. He will thank you anytime Gilmer to help him with this problem. Being a council member, we have fun, and this was one of the solving that we're told that I thought you would be interested in. All financial reports were approved, posting just one for a vendor for our new resource teacher, Mr. Freeman. And we also employed Mr. James Snyder. He's employed as the auto night class instructor. Paul Parson was employed as the building construction night class person. The welding class instructor was employed as Carl Collins. All of these gentlemen are well qualified, very capable instructors, and we're very proud to have them. Substitute lists for both counties were approved, and I'm going to give you a list of these, and you can pass them down. One's from Calhoun, one's from Gilmer County. This will give you some idea of who's replacing our teachers. It also will give you whatever degrees they have, specialization they've had, or non-teaching degrees that they've had. Give you a little bit of insight on the substitution. The only question I might have in the list is just purely because I just wanted to know, I'd like to know how many retired teachers both of the schools had. Because I would think that would be a significant number, because most of the retired teachers do try to help. If you will check the comment columns, you will find that the availability problem of some of these substitutes, when they say where they want to be located, and I can't come on Tuesday, or I can't be there on Wednesday, or maybe I can go to this school but don't want to go to that school, or they say I've got to hire a babysitter, or some of these. You can see some of these listed as comment, and then you will realize how very difficult it is for the officers and the school personnel to find substitutes some morning at any time for this. But this will give you an idea if you're looking down through it, what actually happens with substitutes and where we have them and what they have to go through to get some substitutes someday. Give me a second to go ahead and look at it. It's quite interesting because you've actually given me what each one of the degrees they have, when they expire, and so on and so forth. Mr. Stern requested approval for extra funding of 3% for an improvement cost to the floor covering on the commons area and hallway. We have a strip in the common area that's very dangerous that needs to be replaced. The replacement of the copper pipe with PVC for the new water line extension on the side of Gilmer is another thing that they wants the money for. The carpet wall caps are leaking. Those need to be improved. Painting the doors and trim, now that we've got new walls, we'd like to have to trim the doors painted so they can look proper. This is a new 3% major improvement plan that we'd like to have to finish what we've already started down there. It's not an add-on, it's just something that we wish to finish. In general discussion, Mr. Stern reported that Calhoun County provided academic support person I've been telling you about. Her name is Amanda Morris, and she will come 1 day a week. Darlene Smith in hours usually comes 2 days a week. And we would really appreciate that because she took up the slack with the last time that Calhoun was making cabinet, but they had a little bit of a problem. The academic support team from the County Career Center was there August 19 to formulate a plan for remediation for work skills. Now, we also use the WIN software, which we schedule students out of the lab to help them with remediation. It's very important remediation down there. Mr. Stern is sending personnel to Mid-Ohio Tech to look at their remediation plans for work keys too, to see if we can help our students in that way. We might need to get someone to monitor the online curriculum if we do everything coming from their school. Mr. Stern reported that enrollment at the center is looking good for around 200 students. Natural resources, the OSA kid cards with their credentials, which usually $500 to $700 for the training of 10 hours. We get it free. Of course, we know we have welding, building, and auto repair along with the new National Resource Program. He is very pleased with the program for phlebotomy. It's a 2-year program. It's a new program. You must be recommended by your teachers and the director before you can get into the program. And it's going very, very nicely. There was a little decrease in the Coast Guard program. Very slight, very small. May pick up students coming in and people coming in. Mr. Stern and the Career Center team attended the works program here at the high school. They're also looking at a work program for the Tech Center. They want one down there too. Looking at the model accounting tech centers also to see what they have in store. They're very interested in we are in Gilmer County High School's new program, hoping that Calhoun will get into the program too. So that would make it well-rounded for all of us to be in this program. Mr. Whiting, who is a Calhoun County Board of Education member, asked about grading, discipline, and attendance. And Mr. Stern told him and discussed with him how the grades were done. He stated that each teacher put on their own grades through headline, and that Mrs. Weekly reported the attendance down there to each school individually, so there was no problem with somebody getting information that should have been received. Mr. Fox reported that Mr. Ferris stated he needed to get rid of Rivas. I know very little about that, but he evidently doesn't. It is a very hard thing to keep up with, I know, to break it down. Mr. Fox gave us an update on the enrollment in Calhoun schools. He stated they had lost 73 kids from last year with a loss of $350,000 for those 53 students. He said they needed to stop the bleeding and taking the enrollment away from the county because you lose a lot of money. The new Arnold'sburg school is coming along great, and we hope to get it open by the Christmas break, and we would like to call to come and look at it since it's ready to be open. Mr. Stern asked about the types of floor covering as an alternative to our floor covering down there. We will get back to the council after the MIP is approved. Now, this is a good type of thing. Mr. Blankenship might explain to you where we don't need to get the big machine, we don't need to get the wax, we don't need to get the person to do it. It's a new product that costs a little bit more. But it's much better in the long run and saves in the long run a lot of money. So he's looking at that for down there too. Mr. Hughes, who is a state representative that we have on the council with us, noted that we should check out our part-time employees for the new law on health insurance. We have very few, but there is some of them are dropping their half-time employees. I know the hospital down there said they have a problem. They're dropping back their half-time employees, so yes, they have time. They don't have to bring insurance on. Then he said for us to check it too, but I don't think it's going to affect us a whole lot. Mr. Stern stated we need to explore a sprinkler system. I told you once before that we don't have a sprinkler system because we didn't have the water source in which to get it. Now, if we go with the Gilmer County water line then we can do that. And I think that's already true. And probably Mr. Blankenship will explain that to you, because I think they've already agreed to come on board, but we haven't officially been notified of that. Our next meeting is September 17th, and I hope you all can come. Thank you.
The substitute, used to be one of the board members from one of our larger counties, last Saturday indicated they had 58 full-time substitutes in their county because they could not find fully certified people to employ on a regular full-time basis. So there really is an issue out there with having enough certified people for our public schools. And again, this goes back to the need to train people who can be employed and certified to teach. But 58, it's a large county, it's not the largest county, 58 full-time substitutes, that's a good number.
That some of them have already probably taken their jobs elsewhere.
Exactly. Well, it's a difficult time, a real juggling act to try to meet all the certification requirements at the same time to get people to actually go to classrooms and teach. RESA 7, I have not had a regular RESA meeting since our last board meeting. However, we did have a combination RESA 7 and Gilmer County Board of Education meeting at Bridgeport or Clarksburg recently. I think that was August 17th. And the purpose of that meeting was to discuss ways that counties can share resources in order to cut costs for all the counties involved. And I think most of us were there, and certainly can make comments on the nature of that discussion. I think those items that we were already cooperating with on purchase of equipment, contracts for services, those are all things that make a good deal of sense. The one area that I think is going to be troublesome is sharing personnel. Because one of the things I noted was we got down to discussing, well, your personnel director and our personnel director in an adjoining county can be the same person. Well, that leaves a lot of questions, and I think that there are going to be a number of areas where counties can share a lot in terms of maybe computer services, purchasing of goods and equipment, and that sort of thing. But I think the areas that will give us some cause for thought and debate are areas involving personnel, and counties that may perceive that they're being asked to give up some key positions in this effort to consolidate and save in our county school systems among them. I think the discussions have been good. I think you have to have these kinds of discussions to see where people place their priorities. And there still is a good deal of concern that I don't want my county to sacrifice key people in order to help an adjoining county. And I think that's where we're going to run into some issues. Anything else, all of it I think was there. We did a lot of gameplay and moved from one table to another and back and forth, and I still I think there may be some value in that, but I'm not sure. I noticed toward the end of the meeting, some people stayed at the table and they were tired of moving. There's a lot of dynamic going on right now. We're going through a great transitional period in public education. At the same time that we're taking a new look at standards, a new look at curriculum, we're also facing a time of diminishing financial resources. And so where this all comes out is yet to be determined. But I think 4 or 5 years from now, the models will look different than they do today. It's just we have not gotten clarification on where things will go. economics will drive a lot of change that politics will not allow for. Any questions, any other comments? As I say, we were all there. Okay, then we'll move on to item 5, trip requests. I don't think so. Okay, item 6, consent agenda, an informational item, and you have listed everything from minutes to school volunteers. And,
personnel handout for you. It's item 16. And they have a handout on volunteers. Item 16. Any questions on any of those? Actually, anything that we can say about it.
Brad has a question.
Sure. How is the new transfer? She speaks fluent English. As you know, we talked earlier, we went to a special processing department allows now. We went through the Spanish service in Washington. We have probably half a dozen people that are qualified to do that, and I think they respond pretty well. It's good.
Any other questions? Well, this is an item that we certainly like to have to judge on. Well, if we're ready to move on, let's go to item 7, any important concern?
I have a concern, maybe a question directed to Mr. White. It has to do with the audit. It matters, I understood it was time last fall.
And change date. And date.
And then sometime after that, it will be in September. So this is September, so this is like wondering, do you know anything about it?
No, what will happen, Dr. Arnold, the EPA will make a recommendation to take board on when they come to Gilmer County as well as other counties. And that will be approved by state board of education before they actually come. So we should have this month, we could have an option. We don't really know what he's going to have to wait, but I'm looking at it as possible. We haven't got any paperwork yet.
I have one item. You recall earlier on, I handed you a copy of the State Board of Education goals for the year, and indicated that we might want to look at those if we looked at goals for our board for the year. Our goal was to come and sit with us and help us with this choice of goals, but Howard is in 1,000 meetings in 1,000 different places, and I think it would behoove us at our next board meeting, and if we could include that as an agenda item for us to select our goals for the year. I think there's some things we talked about, our desire to improve the academics at the high school. We talked about the need to get our county back. We've looked at a number of things for our goals. And if you would, then between now our next board meeting, think about 2 or 3 of what you would consider high priorities for our board to achieve. In the spring, we can have achieved 2 or 3 or 4 goals. What would your priorities be? And at the next meeting, then we'll select the goals we'd like to pursue.
Is there a date on that? Is that September 15th?
No.
This meeting, that everybody's in by September 15th. They usually have everything, but we just have to understand.
Well, we're a dysfunctional board, so
They can, I got it last year when you were talking about it, I asked about that last year, the way you were work. I'd like to, I've had two, I've even had cross-country teams.
I don't know if we have one.
Because, we always have one. In fact, my granddaughter was out here going to school, plus, when it said cross-country champion along, she had his arms, son was one. Both of them got scholarships, mine got 22,000 a year at every day, off of the running, nothing off the brain, just off the running. And that was one way our children got scholarships, two of them did training, and I hate to see that program go down. But there's very few scholarships can actually got by our children, and that was one that has really worked. But I didn't see anything, and even if you had anything to go, we had them going, and something to encourage you to, I should look for it.
I'll check my dad on that.
Because this is one place that your parents don't pay you what you're doing. So yep, scholarship. And no problem at all. I know those guys are cool. The right on their brain, they don't have it, but that's on their feet. You know that. But the other one, this university transfer in Morgantown, I really like one that was in the big press, but it doesn't tell me anything about Morgantown. As to what happens when what the Morgantown teachers are supposed to be is there actual plan, steps that the parents can find out the children and when they're there and what is the plan?
The plan is the emergency response plan was a requirement last year by the state of West Virginia. Recess 7 employed a specialist, Mr. Rickson, and he helped our Risa write the plan. So the plan is the same for all the counties in Recess 7. It's a 3-ring binder. We are not able to get those out, obviously for different reasons. But we do have a redacted copy that we can provide to, anybody's interested. It won't give you the specific details.
But see, that's what I don't understand. If something happens in Morgantown, or now if it happens at the middle school, because we got one right, if we go on up to see the one that's right out there. Surely the parents, the people in town, and the teachers and each know what they're supposed to do. They can't do what's going to happen in Harrison County, but they have different responders and different things that we have. And it looks like we should have some kind of plan, so at least they will know what they're doing.
They do, and the teachers know what their plans are, and they've been through drills. And that's been done each year.
Every plan is done, but I know what that's responsible.
Yeah.
Actually, for ourselves, that
Yes, we have our plan covers it. As a matter of fact, I think we noted the update I sent you last week that I met with a pretty large group of individuals. They looked at our plan, everybody agreed that it addressed the issues we should address. Matter of fact, even went as far as furthering the local contacts between the energy company and the local first responders. And they're having another meeting during the future and a policy for first responders for some additional training.
well, that's all of those things are good, but as far as someone else to do, and most people do, or anybody else, what it is, we don't know. Unless,
Be happy to let you look at it one time by one.
because I don't know if it's a secret or not.
Well, you don't release those things, always for different reasons. One would be obviously any terrorist activity.
Well, I'm not looking for terrorists, I'm looking for what's going to happen with the missile terrorists.
You can take a look. But those are the main things we don't release those to the public.
Have you seen that?
have the wrong people that want to plan on it. Family ahead.
That's exactly right.
Well, if it's such a safety issue, you don't know what to do with the family building.
No.
Well, I asked them if they could be paid.
We asked the teacher about it, the crisis response plan, they didn't know.
I'm asking them, do they know what to do with the Marcellus ship? Because, and all that.
They have practice there.
All right, anything else?
I just thought of something, on the, there were requests today, there were announcements for the vacancies. And there was one for a technical person. Is that a person or is it scholarship staff? Or is that a new position in the board anyway?
That's a new position that the state provided us a grant for, technology support specialist.
Okay.
And they actually do some of the things that these support personalities do. But it gives them a lot of additional kind of things. They provided a grant for us to do that.
So does the grant cover all the money?
It will cover all the expenses for the
Can we have one of those people not have elementary already?
No, those are TIS, technology integration specialists. They work directly with teachers and provide a
Is
lesson.
it directly on those computers?
That's one responsibility, but a lot of other things. And, if you'd like, I can share that job description with you.
I will. If it's on, it's on, okay.
Okay.
Is this just for 1 year? For 1 year?
Yes, but the good news is that the grants that the county can have those have been renewed each year. So we're hopeful that will be renewed. You know, even in the worst case scenario, if it weren't renewed, we're still going to have the support from RESA for the backup for those kind of things. This goes a little farther than what they do for us.
I might just say a word or two about the school board association meeting we had in Flatbush last Saturday. It was well attended, and state superintendent spoke about the West Virginia public school and showed video of a lot of the business and industry that's located in West Virginia. A lot of the technical was involved in computer technology, and it was well done. And basically, he said that businesses are beginning to locate in West Virginia because of the quality of our public education system. And I thought the video was excellent. When we broke up into smaller groups, I think Phyllis, I did raise the question of whether or not the good person who made that video knew about parts of Gilmer, Calhoun, and Braxton, and Ritchie, and some of the counties where the landscape was totally different than the Golden Dome and the Capitol, and some of the things that that video highlighted. Because when people look at a state to locate, they look at all of it. And the question came up as to what a case study, what it meant when ACT scores started declining. Well, it's a commentary on your whole community. And so that was kind of what we got into. And I sort of was reading into some of the discussion that, hey, you can't expect kids from low socioeconomic areas to do as well as kids from other areas. And I thought, well, if I'm the director of admissions at Ohio State, and I have a student from one of these areas that wants to get into the School of Veterinary Medicine, I expect that student to have the same kind of qualifications that I expect other students to have. So I hope we don't get into a mode of trying to rationalize some of our data and some of the areas that really where we need to elevate our accomplishments. And I was hearing a little bit of that in our meeting, some rationalization. Well, the scores don't show it all. Well, that's true. But for those outside who are judging us, not on where we live, but on what we we show on paper is a pretty pragmatic sort of decision that's made. And I think we need to be careful that we don't try to rationalize some of our areas that need to be strengthened. But I do pick up some of that in that meeting. Also, people, say a lot of things behind the scenes that they don't say when the speaker asks if anyone has something to say to the crowd. But I'm increasingly having questions from people when they say, well, our state has said they want counties to have more autonomy and to be more independent. But at the same time, they're seeing another direction. They're seeing more and more control. Well, that may be true, but we don't know at this juncture what the final outcomes are going to be. But, as you hear the various points of view out there, you can probably go either way. So it's been my experience that the state has not generally given up much authority to the locals, but we'll have to see how this turns out. It was a pretty good meeting overall, and I think the fact that WVU had a ball game got us out there a little early.
They asked for that to stay. I think that's what it's going to tell you. But I would remind you of that.
I think so. They want each county to do a video of all of its attractive points. And, we really, as board members, we couldn't initiate that, but I thought it was an interesting idea. Every county could develop a video of what it would use to sell the merits of its county. You could do a college, you could do civil creek, there's some things that you could do. But I would leave that up to some of the others, technical experts, put together a body that has something.
Yes. We did ask for that.
Okay, anything else under board consent? All right, the next item, delegation. Denver Miller.
I had a couple questions. One, I have the agenda from the school building authority, which that meeting was just today. And under construction committee report, it lists Gilmer County and Lewis County additional funding for Leading Creek Elementary School. And I was just curious what the additional funding that they're requesting was for.
Just the building as a concern, they give us some additional money as the educated can all come in, under budget.
But don't they, I don't know how it's that works, I'm not trying to be, I'm just asking. You have, like, they gave, what, $11 million or something like that, the SBA gave for the building of the school?
No, it's not something.
Okay, well then you have bids, then don't you pick a bid that is within the money that you have?
Hopefully we can get one.
But they've already chosen the construction person, right, because it's already started.
No, that was the site preparation.
Okay, so it was two completely separate things. So they hadn't actually chosen a contractor yet?
We chose a contractor, but there are also a lot of other packages that still haven't been through. But going through the process, it was determined that there's not enough money to build it. So the SBA is going to provide additional funding.
But there are also been some safety features added to several building projects.
Windows, could be a little bit different, just due to additional requirements for safety measures and things like that. That's additional cost.
And if you go to West Democrat, we also have some real problems with the foundation of the school being built, and they're going to have to get engineers in to do because of all the rain.
Well, I did see somewhere that it said due to the excessive rain, but I don't, it didn't seem to me like we had excessive rain. We haven't had any flooding, or, I mean, we've had rain, but that's, we have rain, that's a good thing, it's planet Earth.
West Democrat has that before last week it said they're really slowly down, it's continuing, but they have a problem. And they're getting engineers to look at it. They get engineers to do anything, an architect to do anything, or changes anything, it takes money.
Right. So there's no additional application process or anything for this additional money once they've said, yeah, we'll fund it, then they just, I mean, what if it grows, beyond what they're willing to fund?
We have to have it like, and I haven't thought, but that's what's going to be.
Okay. And my other question was, in looking through the packet that you gave me, I see there was 3 students expelled. I was curious what those expulsions were for. Because really, we've had no wrap up on the bomb threat thing. I think you did tell me that one of the expulsions was in connection with that, but I mean, this went on the second half of the whole school year last year, and there's really been no, we got it done thanks to the help of the state police, thanks to handwriting samples. I mean, and also as a parent, I like to know if somebody's been expelled. I want to know if they brought a gun to school. I want to know if they're bringing drugs to school. So I can get a feel for the atmosphere, the environment of the school.
Overall violation of the student code contract, people were directly done was proper.
So do we feel like we've got all the bomb threat people taken care of now, or is there still investigation on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So how many people have been expelled altogether for the bomb threats? 2. And we feel like that was the culprit. Okay. I just wanted some clarification on those 2. Thank you.
All right, Norma Hurley.
On August 21st, I met with Mr. Fairs, Mr. Blankenship, and Mr. Freiline were present. He very kindly came back to me with a letter outlining the 8 areas that were delineated of concern. I just want to give you a brief synopsis. We discussed small school support and why Gilmer County isn't eligible for any, and the fact that Randolph County only has 38 students in the second quarter for 2012-2013. At Pickens, they only had 33 at Valleyhead Elementary. Mitchell County, only 93 at Smithville Elementary. And I wondered why Gilmer County students were entitled to the same consideration, why our children have to be drugged so far, and why we aren't being funded for 2 schools. That was my primary concern. And what is that going to take? We talked about Normantown Elementary School condition, the fact that mold mitigation could have been done years ago and was not, and I felt that was administrative failure from the top to the bottom. I still feel that. I think they're converting too much taxable property into tax-exempt property and hurting both the county and the state government, including the Board of Education. Every time you reduce the property taxes, you take money from those sources. So I think that's very foolish on the board's part myself, because they're hurting their own budget as well as the governor's. We discussed the flawed CEFP process, which I certainly feel was present. We discussed associated behavior problems that come when you put younger students on longer bus rides with prepubescent and pubescent teens. It certainly is not good for them morally and ethically, and behavior does go downhill. We discussed the excess transport times, making unreasonably long bus rides when they give us one school for children, especially from P-10 through grade 3. And the fact that I asked for them to please support the governor's initiative on reading. How can you do that when the children are worn out from long bus rides trying to handle waiting for the high school even to get off?
I felt that was irresponsible. He very kindly responded back, and we agreed that after I give my total written response and breakdown of the information I have that supports my information, that he agreed to, that he would do three things: analyze the 2010 CEFP for deficiencies, analyze the history of the schools, and make recommendations to correct errors by previous local and state administrators, review the documents that I submit, and respond to me by October 30th. When I've completed my response to him, which I will shortly, I do plan on, Mr. Blankenship, just so you know, sending you an FOIA. I will be publishing those documents so that the public can be aware. I feel Mr. Bears was very considerate. Regrettably, I only had an hour, but it was a very active hour, and I feel good about that. I hope that this board, at their next meeting, will put on the agenda to discuss the possibility of letting the people vote, to decide whether or not we can have an east or west school. I feel that's the citizens' right. I feel it's a good thing to do for the students. My stand has not changed on that, and you all know my reasons. You know, I think they're well documented, that this would be a good thing, and if they're right, give them a choice. If they disagree, fine. If they let one school come, fine. But they never really had a choice before. When they voted on the two, what they voted was voted for to keep four. That's what they voted to do, and they've done it very well all this time. It was not put on that levy. You can find it nowhere in the world. You may go back and research the records till you're blind. Nowhere does it say that if you do not vote this levy for two schools, you will only have one paid for by the state. Simply doesn't exist, and I just feel that the public deserves better than that. And I think the board can do this. We're going to have, a primary in May. The cost would be way down. So I hope you will do that. And I want to say one more thing, and I'll stop. I was called by a constituent out of Harrison County who heard someone, I'm not going to say who because I wasn't there, they mentioned that the western areas of our county are suffering from drug addiction and poverty. This county, every county in this state, every county in this nation, every state in this nation has the same problems. They specifically, according to this person, mentioned Normantown. That's really odd because if you look at the current statistics coming out on school performance, that would be a pretty good case for saying that drug addiction and poverty must do a good job. I just hope that whoever is doing this stops. That's all I ask. Just stop it. Thank you very much.
I would remind you, Mrs. Hurley, that this board is empowered to approve student affairs.
I understand.
The pledge of allegiance, everybody, that we think means nothing.
But I will tell you what Mr. Bears told me that the state superintendent means anything, and sometimes I wonder, because he did remind me that he works for the state board. So who works for who in this state? I'm afraid to say. But let's put it this way, he did tell me that if the Board of Education of this county would ask to support that levy,
If they return this power back to this board, then we can legitimately vote on any issue that we all.
well, you can certainly discuss it in board concerns, Dr. Simmons, at discretion of you. But whether or not you can vote on it, I understand that you cannot. I know what you're saying. I understand. And respectfully, I say to you that you could take it up under board concerns and at least let the public know where you stand on giving them a chance to vote. Thank you.
All right, do I hear a motion that we adjourn? All right, second? We have a second. Second that we adjourn, we stand adjourned. October 21st.
Yes.